Paul Argueta here. Today we got a fun video for you. Today we are going to talk about the top 3 things that you think make you look good in front of your client but are actually hurting your business. Thanks for visiting my channel. Please make sure that you press the subscribe button so that you can have access to all the content that we are creating and curating for you. Also make sure that you click on the bell icon so that way you can receive alerts anytime we upload new videos and have new material to share with you. Lastly, if you have any friends or family that you think can benefit from these videos, by all means, don't keep us a secret. Please share these videos with them. Okay, so let's jump right in. These are the top 3 things that you think you are doing that makes you look good in front of your client, but is actually hurting your business. And the thing is, I've been guilty of this, and anyone that has been in the business long enough has probably been guilty of it as well. So we're gonna talk about how to navigate pricing. Pricing is very, very important because when you are working with a seller, it's a little bit different than when you're working with a buyer, right? Because they're both coming from completely opposite angles, okay? The seller is always going to try to get the highest price possible. And if you're fighting with the seller, you're going to have a very difficult chance of getting that listing. Now, I'm not saying that the seller is always going to be right. Your job as a real estate agent is to present the comparables and to present the information and the data that you've compiled, and then basically make your case for why they should list their property for X price. Now, the seller may agree to it, the seller may not agree to it, all right? There's gonna be some real estate coaches that are gonna say, don't take the listing. There are gonna be some real estate coaches that are gonna say, take the listing, just make it for a longer period and write it out. Look, both methods work. I've had success doing both. The reality here is though, anytime you get into an argument with a seller over the price, you're really not going to be helping yourself out. Present your case as best you can, and that is it. Now, when you're dealing with a buyer, right, it's the same thing, except now the buyer's coming from the polar opposite end where they want to try to offer as little as possible, right, to get the same property. So the seller wants as much as possible and the buyer wants as little as possible. And here's the mistake that we make. When a buyer wants to make an offer on a property, you know that it might be a lowball offer, right? And you know that you're writing it up. The best thing that you can do is to not beat up the buyer and tell them, look, you gotta offer more, you gotta offer more, you gotta offer more. Now, mind you, there's different circumstances, right? Because if it's a multiple offer situation and you know that there's 10 offers on the property and this is the dream house that the buyer wants, if the buyer says, I wanna make an offer, all right, and it's a lowball offer, my recommendation is write the offer up. Okay? Show your client that you're going to at least make an effort to fight for what it is that they want, that you're fighting for their best interest. Draft the offer up, do everything that you would normally do, treat the offer as if it's a full price offer, right? And then call the listing agent. The second thing that you are probably doing that you think is making yourself look good but it's actually hurting you is same thing. Now you're not fighting for the price, but now you're fighting for the condition of the property during negotiations or during the escrow period. So what tends to happen is while you are in escrow, okay, while you are in escrow, the buyer is entitled to do their inspection, they're kicking the tires, they're finding out what's right and what's wrong about the property, and then the buyer comes and they present a request for repair. When you're representing the buyer and the buyer is doing their home inspection, especially if they're first-time home buyers and they have a home inspector, the home inspector is going to call out everything, right? Everything. And not only is the home inspector going to call out everything, but the home inspector is then going to recommend that they hire specialists for some of the things that they're calling out. When the buyer says, I want items 1 through 50 to be repaired, and then you start again beating down the buyer and you just start telling your buyer no, 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 no to all of their requests, what does that show your client? It shows your client that number 1, you're not going to bat for me. And number 2, as an agent, 9 times out of 10, really it's just demonstrating that we don't want to go deal with the drama associated of having to go back and negotiate. Let's reverse that. Now you're the listing agent and you are representing the seller. In this case, it's not our job as the listing agent to filter those requests for repairs or for us to say, don't send it to me, I'm not gonna present it to my seller. That's not our job. And it doesn't make us look really good in front of our clients either. Because again, our job is to present the facts, to present what is happening. The third and final thing that I have been guilty of, and most veteran agents have been guilty of, and you will probably be guilty of if you are a new agent, is the as is clause. All right, now look, here's the deal. I used to be a REO foreclosure agent, and their contracts and addendums have as is written all over it, In fact, their addendums and their contracts are written to protect them, not to protect anybody else. As is contracts and as is escrows are renegotiated when they are in escrow all the time. If they say, hey, look, we need these items fixed, we found out about them, and your position is, we already told you it's being sold as is, where is. As is, where is. I'm not presenting it to my seller. That's the wrong position to take. Your job is to not filter. Your job is to present. Now, buyer's agent, same deal. You're gonna get a home inspection, right? You know that the buyer signed an as-is clause, and it's not really your job to beat down the buyer and say, hey, look, it's as-is. As-is is not gonna happen. You don't wanna beat your clients down, right? Don't beat the client down on price or on the on counter offers or on terms or on the condition of the property. You make sure that when you are presented something, you go out and you present it to your client, and then you try to mitigate it as best you can. That is what we get paid to do, all right? So anyway, those are the top 3 things that a lot of us do. We think that it makes us look good in front of our client, but at the end, it's really killing the deal or it's hurting the transaction, okay? We have a fiduciary responsibility to represent our clients right. But at the same time, it's also important for us to find a way to make this deal work for the benefit of both clients. So there's a fine line between defending them and finding a balance to make sure the transaction closes, especially when both parties are, the seller's counting on the sale to happen and the buyer's counting on the sale to happen as well. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please make sure that you subscribe and also press on the bell icon so that way you can get immediate alerts anytime I upload new content. Hopefully this material helps you in your business. Hopefully you see value in it. And if you do, please don't keep it a secret. Go share it with other people. Comment below if you have had these experiences. Make sure that you comment below. I enjoy the dialogue. I enjoy the banter. You can tell me that I'm completely full of crap. That's fine too. Or you can tell me, hey, this works or it doesn't work, or you're spot on or you're completely spot off, whatever it might be. Let me know if this video made sense to you or not, or if it impacted your business in a positive or in a negative way, all right? I look forward to hearing about your success in the future. My name is Paul Argueta. I'll talk to you soon.